All right, hello and welcome to another Expert Inside interview. My name is John Golden from SalesPOP, online sales magazine and Pipeliner CRM, joining you as usual from San Diego on the west coast of the United States. And today I'm delighted to be joined by Amit Prakash, who is over in one of my favorite places, Singapore. How are you doing, Amit?
Very well, John. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm excited to be here.
Of course, of course. And Ahmed is an international business trainer, speaker, and consultant with over 16 years of action-packed and quality experience, and works for the organization who he is a founder and lead trainer and consultant, Motivus. And what we're going to talk today is a very interesting concept that you have come up with, Ahmed, called Salesvice. So do you want to just explain that to the audience first, and then we'll get into it?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So before I get started with the main topic, I think it's important to give a bit of my background, which is I've studied service and I've studied sales and marketing. So I've done my hospitality course, and then I did my MBA in marketing. And after that, I've worked throughout in sales from the very beginner's role up to the corporate rank in multiple service brands across different countries and continents. And while working in sales in service industry, and also when you're in sales in service industry, you get to interact as a customer with almost every other industry companies. And that's where you get to know them a lot more closer. So one thing that I felt that was missing in the market, that we have great sales speakers, trainers, professionals in the market, and we have great customer service speakers, trainers, and professionals in the market. But what was missing was the integration of these two very important departments and teams, where if it is not aligned, if it is not integrated, the gap created between the two teams' operations leads to a poor customer experience. And that is detrimental for the success of any organization. And that's where I've always felt that just a sales mindset or being great with sales skills or just with service mindset or just being great with service skills is not enough. That's good. That's the foundation, which is very important. But until these two departments don't work very, very, very closely together in an integrated way, it will not result into the right positive customer experience. Yeah. And for any business, what is more important is the customer is happy, the customer is getting a memorable experience so that the customer repeats and also becomes an unpaid brand ambassador, bringing more new customers to you, and that's how a business becomes sustainable. But we've been failing to realize this fact, and companies have been investing millions of dollars every year on training their sales teams individually and their service teams individually. But what I feel is that these two critical teams who should be integrated should be, since the beginning, be trained by the same trainer, so that since the beginning they are upgrading their mindset from sales mindset and customer service mindset to customer experience mindset.
Yeah,
because that's what is ultimately important for any business, and even for sales professionals. Let's say we take an example of sales professional. If they have sales mindset and they've brought in one-time sale, but if the service team is not integrated with them, and if they're not providing the right promised service, then of course the customer is not going to be happy, and the sales teams will need to bring in new customers every time, which is very tiring, which is not right. And it's like every time you're running after new business rather than just building relationship and bringing in repeat business and expanding your market share from your existing companies. And at the same time, when you have every time a new customer coming in, the customer service teams don't have the right data and knowledge points in terms of creating memorable experience for them. So for them also, it's like every time they're trying to understand a new customer, But if they're not repeating because the
Mm-hmm.
brand promise, which is made by the brand and brought to life by the sales team, is not really met by the service team.
Yeah,
So
and I think just on that, Amit, I just wanted to say is I think because people still today don't always understand the concept of customer experience and how it's an end-to-end experience. It's not a pre-sales experience, it's not a sales experience, it's not an after-sales experience, it's all of them combined. And if one part of that falls down, human beings being what they are, they tend to default to the one negative experience. So that's why what you're saying is critically important to bring all of these groups together.
You're spot on, John. And that's the reason what I've done is over these years, I've created a framework for the customer experience, which starts from pre-sales, where the brand and marketing team come in, and then sales, customer service, and finally it completes with the customer feedback management, which is also very important. And I don't know if I have enough time to explain the model that I've created around customer experience.
Yeah, no, please do. Go ahead.
Yeah, so in my corporate experience of having been there, done that, both sales and customer service, and being in business myself, I've realized that companies start primarily with either of the two broad reasons. Number one could be that there is a need in the market, and there is a supply and demand mismatch. And that's how someone wants to capitalize on it and make money, but also they want to put forward a promise to their customers. So that is one reason. The second reason is that someone is very passionate about certain area, and they want to really make a positive difference, and that's where they get into the business and start. Like means I was in corporations, and I was on expat roles, traveling across different countries and continents, staying in hotels, had a very cozy life. But I started my own company because I felt that I can really bridge this gap between sales and service, which I've been seeing consistently lacking almost in every company and every industry. So that is the second broad reason for a company to start. And they also have to make some brand promise. So what happens that now there are certain brand promise that are put down. It could be one, it could be five. Then the brand team basically lays down the promise, and the marketing team puts it into the right shape and brings it in front of the prospects. So that's where the pre-sales activity is happening. And now when a customer gets really attracted towards this marketing activity and the promise that is made by the brand, then they say, okay, it resonates with me and it meets my need. Let me go and try them out. And that's where the sales teams come into the picture, where they bring the promise to life, make a sale, and reiterate that the same promise will be lived across their different customer experience touch points. And that's when the customer buys it and then moves on to the next stage in their customer experience touch point. And that's where they meet with the customer service team. Different companies have different names: customer service, customer success, customer support. It could be operations, it could be delivery, but ultimately they're all there to serve the customer and live the brand promise. And that's
and
where
wouldn't you agree, Amit? It's incredibly important that those handoffs are seamless, that they're very elegant, because the thing that people hate the most, let's be honest, is when you get dumped from sales to service and there's no elegant handoff and you kind of feel a bit lost.
Exactly. Yeah, this is absolutely what is happening. So a promise is made at this level, which is as per the brand promise. But when it comes to the actual delivery, because of the lack of integration, lack of coordination, and lack of collaboration between the two teams, the experience falls down, because service teams tend to follow certain standard procedure, which is important. But at times what happens is that sales teams have to, because of competition or for certain reason, they have to oversell or overcome it. And that's the reason a handover between these two departments is super critical. to ensure that whatever has been promised to the customer has been lived by the operations, by the customer service team. And that's where I come in, and I do train both the teams individually first in their individual skill sets, because I've studied that and I've worked in that space. And then I shift their mindset from sales mindset and service mindset to one uniform mindset called customer experience mindset. And that's how the customer gets the same level of experience and meets the brand promise that a company puts forward. And even after doing all these efforts, then the last stage comes where it's called customer feedback management, where proactively, there is not just one department responsible for it. It is, in my model, it is comprising of the pre-sales, which is brand and marketing team, sales, customer service, and a sample of management team or the leadership team, so that nothing is hidden, everything is crystal clear, it's known to everyone. And the system that I've created ensures that a proactive feedback during the whole experience and immediately after the whole experience is collected. If the feedback is good, then the framework ensures that the team members are appreciated and recognized for doing that. And if there is anything that customer feels has not been met based on the brand promise, then an immediate investigation is done where we lack, what happened, and then we find out the right reasons, because here there won't be anything hiding, because it's comprising of different department people. And then the customer is reached out again, and we inform them that, okay, this is the reason that we failed, this is what we have done, and please give us another chance, where we will ensure that you don't have any slippage from the promise to the delivery at any stage. And that's how the whole cycle keeps getting upgraded in terms of the brand promise and the service delivery as well.
Yeah, so, and one of the things, Amit, is that oftentimes, I think this is another thing that frustrates customers, something that you've just touched upon there, is it's not just gathering the feedback, it's actually making it actionable and making sure that the customers can see that you're actually taking the feedback and doing something with it.
Absolutely. This is very, very important. And it's important to collect feedback during their journey also, and to set up a process, and also immediately once they've finished their journey. And if there is anything wrong, go back to them, do service recovery, and put forward your next promise that this is what we have done, this is how we are going to serve you, and give us another chance. And that's where even customers understand that it could be because of a human error. It could be because two departments are not very well aligned. So they understand, until we don't just go back to them and put forward our revised, our upgraded promise. So they can understand always and give us another chance. And we ensure that we are extra careful in delivering our promise. And that's when they become another. So I call them as unpaid brand ambassador. Many companies have got paid brand ambassadors. They spend millions of dollars every year on that. But I think the customers, when they are converted into the unpaid brand ambassadors, you don't have to pay anything. You just have to live your brand promise and ensure that everything goes smooth across each of their customer touch points.
Yeah. And to be honest, if some organizations put as much effort into just living the brand promise, they wouldn't need to be paying these brand ambassadors, because they, as you said, they would have free ones.
Absolutely, John. You're right, spot on there.
Yeah. So as you work with organizations now, do you feel that people are waking up to this, that they realize that this needs to happen? Because let's face it, before the pandemic, digital transformation, integration, customer experience, they're all great buzzwords. Some people were doing it. A lot of people were paying lip service to it. But then the pandemic showed that you can't, that you need to have good digital processes. You need to have good processes across the organization, and you need to start to integrate the departments more and have them work in a more matrix fashion. Do you think organizations are ready for that now?
Organizations are getting more and more ready, for sure, because systems and processes are very important, not just to serve, but also to collect the right feedback and ensure that the customer's voice is heard and it's put it is upgraded, it is updated in the system, in the CRM systems, and every time that customer repeats, you serve them in the way that they want you to serve. So that's how, yeah, it was a slow movement before the pandemic, but I think during the pandemic, it's kind of caught up a lot more. And these are the tools that are going to help us as professionals in sales and service and leadership teams. And we should definitely embrace this.
Yeah, I would totally agree. I would totally agree. And I think then it also means that obviously sales and marketing and customer service, that they all have to work together, but it also means that at a leadership level in the company, they need to, it needs to come from the top, that this collaboration has to happen and the customer experience has to be an end-to-end process, and something that belongs to everybody. So, I mean, and you've probably experienced this, you can't do this without full buy-in from leadership.
Absolutely. This is absolutely a top-down effort, because until they understand the importance of this, it will never be implemented down the line, which is absolutely not going to be successful if it is not starting at the leadership level.
Yeah, no, no, absolutely. And what are some of the other obstacles that you see to implementing this initiative in an organization?
So initially, when I used to talk about this initiative without just verbally,
Hmm.
they used to understand, but they were not getting the fire coming in their belly. But then when I created a keynote, especially for this topic on Salesvice, the new recipe for business success, and I started to gift this keynote to the leadership team, and the leadership team here primarily included the head of sales, head of customer service, head of human resources, head of learning and development, and anyone above them could be MD, CEO, chairman of the company, depending on the size of the company. When I started to present and gift that keynote, which I have, then they started to realize the importance of it, because as per New Voice Media report, businesses are losing more than $75 billion a year because of poor customer experience. And the integration between these two critical departments is the major reason for creating the poor experience, because brand and marketing is doing their work, which has been defined. They're
Hmm.
just repeating the same thing, but each and every sales and each and every service is new, and it has to be done by the sales and service teams. And that's where the major hiccup happens, and that's where even the CRM comes into the picture, where you can capture the right priorities of the customers, right likes and dislikes of the customers, and that helps you. It becomes a great tool, because you are intending to bring that customer time and time again, and capturing their preferences, capturing their likes and dislikes. It's very important, and that's where even CRM system is becoming more and more critical these days.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and especially when you have when you have integrate your other systems, and therefore you can see, what tickets, customer support tickets they've had, all of these things. If you have a central repository and you have a composite picture of your customer, then you can engage with them in a more informed fashion. Anybody who wants to. And a final question, Ahmed. What do you see for the future now? What do you see? I mean, I think this is going to be very disruptive to organizations going forward. I don't think they realize yet. I think it started off by, we need these groups to interact and collaborate. What do you see beyond that? I mean, we're still talking about very traditional kind of organization structures. We're just talking about them maybe working together a little bit more. What do you see? Because I know you see something probably a little bit more dramatic down the road.
Yeah, so I think it's going to take some time for sure, but my long-term vision is to see companies integrating these two departments so well together that they can be called sales with rather than sales and service. And the seven-step process that I've created to ensure that this whole integration happens for good and for eternity. That includes the step-by-step process of what you follow, and then you will be able to achieve them. And of course, the anchor in this whole process is also the right CRM system. And my long-term vision is that these two departments are so well integrated that if there is a need to switch team members between these two departments, it's very, and the whole 7-step process actually ensures you to achieve that. Let's say, for example, I keep giving this example. Give me a few seconds.
Sure.
Let's say there is a sales professional. She is a lady. She is a brilliant sales professional, and she's been the best sales professional in the company for the last couple of years. And she decides to go family way, and she has a baby, and the doctor advises that, okay, there have been some complications and you need to be on a easygoing job for the next 1 year. You cannot be running out in the market or having a stressful job for the next 1 year. That could be really bad for your health and your future. In that case, and this has happened with my team when I was a sales leader myself. In that case, either this sales lady who is great in sales, she quits knowing that the company will not support, or the company lets her go because then she becomes of no use to the company. But I want to create a system where there is a buddy system, there is a cross exposure, there is an integration between these two departments. So she comes back and talks to one of the leaders from sales or service, and they ensure that she is moved into the service role, which is back at the office, which is the customer is also aware that, okay, she is not out of the company, she is within the company. So the promises that she has made is going to be lived. And the customer also knows the buddy from the service team, because at every point in time, the customer knows at least 3 people, the salesperson, the service person, and the leadership team. So the customer is also very comfortable in ensuring that, yes, my whole promise, my whole package, my whole pricing is intact, and this guy is going to be helping me. And after 1 year, they can choose to switch back to their roles. And in this way, we can retain both the talent within the company rather than losing them. So that's my really long-term vision, that these two departments become so importantly collaborated, that because I feel in my whole sales career, when I look back, I felt that I've never sold. I've always served, and the sales happened, and sales happened at higher price, longer contracts, and bigger volumes. And at the same time, when it comes to service, I feel, since we are in a service of business, not in the social service, our solutions could be solving customers' problems, and we should not be shying away to put forward our solutions at a certain price, which could be an upselling, cross-selling, or downselling to customers, but it comes across as a great solution to them. So I believe everyone sells, everyone serves, whether they are in sales, service, leadership, or whichever department you call. Everyone is a brand ambassador of the business. Everyone sells, everyone serves. So the integration is highly possible. It's just that we have right now a fixed mindset where we think, okay, a salesperson can only sell, a service person can only serve.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. I mean, I think we have to totally change our mindsets around this. Listen, Amit, this has been great, and all of Amit's information is going to be below this video. But before we end, please do tell people a little bit more about yourself and Motivus.
Yeah, so Motivus has been headquartered in Singapore, but we serve worldwide, and that's the main mission that I and my team members have. We have representations and offices in different countries. We have it in Middle East, which is Dubai. We have it in Australia, Singapore, India, with teams in these locations. But the mission is one, which is to upskill the sales and service teams and integrate them so well together that the customer experience is absolutely uniform. And we are on this mission for last 4 years already, and we are going strong. We've been helping one company at a time, and they're getting good results. And the moment I gift my Salesvice keynote, leadership teams really start to understand how important it is. And so, what is the problem? Why is it important to be solved, and how it can be solved? So if they have team strength to implement, they can just take this as a gift from us and implement on their own. If they feel that they need hand holding and help, we are always